That's you.
All right.
Yeah. That's very nice.
Good morning, everyone. The MPO board meeting of August 21st, 2025 is called to order. I remind everyone to please silence all electronic devices. You do that too. Clerk, can we have, I'm sorry. At this time, can you please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance? Clerk, can you please have, call the roll? Here. 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 Here.
Here. Here.
Here. Thank you. All right, now we have a call for public comment. You have anybody signed up to speak? Anybody on the phones or anything? If we don't have the minutes from last meeting, so we're going to skip over that. MPO advisory committee reports. First, you would like to speak?
Good morning, board. I just wanted to make a special note that we do have the Pasco Sheriff's Office here today to provide security to our meeting. So we'd like to thank them for coming, and hopefully the meeting will be in a safe and secure environment.
Yes, thank you for keeping us safe. All right. First up, we have Citizen Advisory Committee, James Mallow.
Hey, good morning, everybody. How is everybody doing today? Great.
Awesome.
Good, good. All right, so I'm James Mallum, the chairman of the Citizen Advisory Committee. We did have a meeting that I was not at, so I'm going to give you some notes. I have some notes to let you know what happened at the meeting. So our action items were as follows. The Pasco MPO began, the Pasco MPO Freight Plan Phase 2 Development Task Order. It's a MPO staff plans to continue the partnership with Benesh. Did I say that? Somebody, give me a thumbs up, Benesh. Okay. To complete phase 2 of the freight plan. This is a $221 million plan. There was motion that to approve, move forward with that, and that motion did pass. Second action item was Pasco County Resiliency Improvement Plan as order. They were trying to get approval for that. We received an overview of that plan task order, which in short little blurb is resilience planning and adaptation assess vulnerabilities and their threats resulting from natural and human-made events. And it plans to prepare communities to adapt and to withstand disruptions caused by such incidents. There was a motion to approve, and the motion did pass on that action item. The next action item was Pasco MPO fiscal year 2026-2023 TIP amendment. It was presented to us, 9 transportation improvement projects proposed for inclusion as amendments to the adopted fiscal year 2026-2030 transportation improvement program, also known as TIP. That was adopted in June, and there was a motion to pass that, and it was carried. Moving on to our fourth action item that we reviewed was the Commission for the Transportation Disadvantaged Designated Official Planning Agency, or the DOPA, the DOPA. Metropolitan Modernization Transportation District Planning Grant Agreement. It's $36,419. We were presented with that plan, and a motion, was made and, vote was unanimous for it to move forward. Fifth one, action item that we reviewed was the Gulf Coast Safe Streets Summit, GCSS, interlocal funding agreement. Funds transfer from Hillsborough TPO to Pasco County MPO for the use on the 2025 Gulf Coast Safe Streets Summit. And this agenda item was tabled. The status reports reviewed, Pasco County Freight Plan Phase 1. MPO consultant was with Alfred Benesh, and company presented the conclusions of Phase 1 and introduction of Phase 2. Next, we reviewed Pasco County Parks and Recreation Natural Resources Department Trail Wayfinding Plan presentation, where Parks Planner and a project manager delivered a presentation on Pasco County Parks, Recreation, Natural Resources Department Trail Wayfinding Plan. There was no action taken on that. It was just a review. And Pasco County Active Transportation Scope of Work Development Discussion. We discussed with the Active Transportation Planner, the Pasco County Development Economic Growth Department. There was discussion held to solicit the input on the direction and focus of the Pasco County Active Transportation Plan, or the ATP scope, and identify the overarching needs and deficiencies in the current county active transportation map. And that is all I have to review you all. Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody.
Have any questions?
Any questions?
I just wanted to correct one thing.
Okay.
You said the, Spanish project.
120.
It's the word million, is million the correct? No, so just, can we get the right amount?
Okay. My notes here to be, either I'm reading it wrong or
It was a lot. I took my breath away.
so when we turned 50, which was a long time ago for me, we start wearing these. And I didn't have them on as I was reading that. I'm like, why can't I see that?
I have trouble hearing, but.
Okay, so we're both getting up there, but 121 million sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Not to spend though. Anyway, take care, everybody.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. I want to recognize Commissioner Mariano and Mr. Waitman are in attendance. Thank you.
I just, before we go, do dates at a meeting, or do dates? Look, you get time with it. Tell, say hi.
Sure. Come on up. Thank you.
He beat me to it.
Yeah.
I stole his seat, so I guess it's only fair.
Mayor Black, would you like to make the introduction?
This past Tuesday evening, this past Monday evening, the city commission met for final interviews with our city manager candidates. We had spoken with a couple of others a couple of weeks ago, and our third candidate was our acting city manager, Marita Van Irving. And very pleased to state that at the conclusion of our meeting Monday evening, the commission moved to extend a contract to Ms. Van Irving to serve as our city manager in Dade City. That will be ratified, discussed and ratified at not this next city commission meeting, but the commission meeting after. At our most recent city commission meeting last Tuesday evening, we swore in our new police chief, Ian Starling. Chief Starling was previously with the Largo Police Department. She is a native of Lawdy up in Bradford County, US Highway 301. And so that's right. We are pleased to have Chief Starling now in Dade City, from Lottie by way of Florida. So welcome to both of you. We look forward to a long, very rewarding relationship with your employee as city manager and police chief, city of Dade City. Honored.
Congratulations. Welcome. All righty, next up, we have Technical Advisory Committee, Vandenberg.
Morning, MPO board. Cynthia Spidell normally makes these presentations, but she was unavailable today, so we asked if I could come make this presentation since I'm presenting on another item a little later on the agenda. But I won't go through all the same items that the CAC just presented. The Technical Advisory Committee heard all the presentations and agenda items that you just heard. And made recommendations for approval on all of them. The committee did recommend that I say a few words about the freight plan and study that we're all pretty excited about in Zephyr Hills, and I think overall for the county as well. We just discussed a lot about the importance, of that freight plan and study, how important it is to have a truck route that gets developed countywide, to have that on a map that we can use. And, hopefully how this freight plan can assist in also allocating funding to help support road projects that'll help support manufacturing and good creation of good jobs. And I guess the last thing that we hope that this freight plan and study will do is a lot of land use decisions are being made in Pasco County. And there's priority areas where we feel in Zephyr Hills, and I think you folks do in Pasco County too, where it makes good sense to have land use for manufacturing, for the creation of good jobs. So we hope that this freight plan will help go a long way in helping us in all three of those areas. So appreciate y'all supporting that freight plan and study, and look forward to working with you further on it as the project continues. That's all that I had today.
I just want to let you and this council know, so I chair the Federal Board Association of Counties, and we had our executive call. And one of the proposals on our slate of proposals is concerned to heavy trucks. So I want to make sure I get that language down here. We're going to be discussing it, I'll ask you to meet, but and I don't have it in front of me, but the gist of it is that there's some movement to go to heavier trucks on on roads, and they go and in fact are supporting that that before they allow heavier trucks on county roads, that the feds need to come up with a funding plan to help pay for the degradation of the roads. But that's very capsule. Have to make it policy. So I want to get that clear, and I'd love to, that. We don't want to deter commerce, but we also don't want to have to pay for local roads and part of it.
Let's say what they go to transportation committee would be.
Yeah, it's what we're philosophy when we went into the whole, right? Especially as your guys.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, Angela Villa.
Good morning. The Pasco County MPO BPAC committee met on Wednesday, August 6th with a quorum. The committee voted to approve 5 items as presented earlier by the CAC. The committee also heard presentation from Alfred Benesh and Company regarding the conclusion of the freight plan phase 1 and the wayfinding trail wayfinding plan, and also participated in discussion about the Pasco County active transportation plan scope of work. Any questions?
Did you have a presentation on wayfinding at the BPAC?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
It'll be
I
here.
know, but I have to confirm it, so I'm hoping I get to see. I'll listen
It'll be a good presentation.
as I'm driving.
Thank you very much.
My staff was present this morning at the ribbon cutting of the Elmwood School program, which connects to our Anglo Field School. Next to the rail program.
Alrighty, gonna move on to our action items. Great Plan Phase 2 Development Task Order Approval. Scott Berry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, Board.
Morning.
In your packet for your approval is a task order in the amount of $121,103.44 for Alfred Benesh and Company to perform transportation planning work for the Pasco MPO, consisting of the completion of the countywide freight transportation plan that the MPO began earlier this year. Work to be formed under this task order consists of conducting additional outreach and stakeholder engagement, performing an assessment and identification of existing and anticipated future freight infrastructure needs and policies, and developing a set of recommended freight transportation improvement projects, operational improvements, and freight transportation policies. And lastly, developing a freight movement implementation plan. The task order will expire on June 30th, 2026. However, the team anticipates the completion of the plan by April 1st, and that plan will be presented to this board upon its completion. Are there any questions or comments? I ask for a motion for approval.
Mr. Chair, move for second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next up, we have Pasco County Resiliency Improvement Plan Task Order Approval. Angel Bean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your agenda packet for your approval is this task order in the amount of $224,809.44 for Volker Incorporated to perform transportation planning work for the Pasco MPO, consisting of the completion of the countywide transportation resiliency improvement plan. Work to be performed under this task order consists of coordination with previous and existing planning efforts, such as the Resilient Pasco project, to improve adaptation and preparedness with a focus on the county's transportation system, evaluation of natural, man-made, and technology-related vulnerabilities and threats to Pasco County's transportation system, prioritization of vulnerable transportation facilities for improvements, and recommendation and prioritization of projects, programs, and policies that aid in the adaptation and limit local, regional, and statewide disruptions. These recommendations will be implemented over a 5-year, 10-year, and 20-year horizon. Any questions?
It's been stated before when it's done. Little road goes underwater and it's part of the SIS system, so have challenges, so.
Yeah, I think, for the road, we drove that area. We've built ditches in certain areas. Only if you look at this, and a lot of, we just completed the Northern Outfall Stormwater Project in Fort Ritchie. And I think the Southern Outfall is one that we're taking water will provide more resiliency to take part in that Old Bay Road, Post Road that could be cleaned out as part of the stormwater for wildlife. Hudson, there's a pipe that could be created and wide to go out to the Delta Fund. So I don't want to look with DOT to kind of look at those opportunities that are there to kind of get the water up. So if we have these evacuation of the water, that'll be a big sign.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank
Ask for a motion to.
Move to approve?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Pasco MPO, fiscal year 26 and 30 TIF amendments. Cindy Gorman and then Scott Berry.
Good morning. I just wanted to preface this agenda item to state that this is not a overview or a amendment of the entire TIP document. It is just the roll forward document of the projects from FDOT that were not funded in the previous fiscal year that will be funded in the current or next fiscal year. So as you're looking through your agenda, please note that the document in there is, those are the only projects that we are currently reviewing. I just wanted to make that clarification on.
My agenda that's, yeah, my staff. Even 400 magnifiers. Right?
Now I will go to,
Yeah.
we can put it up here too. And now I'll turn over and stop there.
As Ms. Gorman stated, this list of 9 proposed tip amendments for the current TIP, these are not new projects. These are projects that were in the previous TIP document. They were in the Florida DOT's previous work program. They were already committed for funding. However, they were never implemented in the previous fiscal year. Therefore, the Florida DOT requests that the MPO add these projects back into our current TIP document so they can be added into the current Florida DOT District 7 work program, and that they can be implemented in the current fiscal year. And we do this on an annual basis. It's called the roll forward list of amendments.
Yeah. Correct me if this is the wrong time to talk about it. Have the motion later. Our last commission meeting, the board discussed all the market change, Shady Brook Road. And the market on that segment of the north-south road in Pasco is incredibly hot. County for years has advocated industry jobs, come into that area, and it's happening. It's a great thing. But with that, the government's quick to pivot and move with the market shift, with all the housing and the businesses that are starting to come online up and down that corridor, don't have a red light there. I think it's time, based on the comments of the board, to speak to it, that we need to pivot, realign how the market shift. I think we need to have another conversation about Shady Oak Road and corridor in general, and just government struggles to be flexible and what the market does. But I feel we have an obligation, at minimum, to discuss and recognize what's going on and see what we shift segments of the road. No, it's not on the list now, but I think it's an important conversation.
Well, I cannot read this here, so if someone could tell us what projects are. But as Commissioner Wakening said, I don't know if you listened to the board meeting on Tuesday, but we had a pretty good discussion on Shady Mills, and especially trying to find relief from Umbrella, the school, to wherever Publix and that retail commercial areas coming in around the retail web. And we have a lot of common industry in that area too. So we think you really need to elevate that stretch of the road at least.
Fact of Shady Hills Road, we've had several projects come into being on that road, but it's never been changed from a two-lane road. The total project, north to south, it's a $57 million project. So we were hoping maybe we could start line at the southern end, there at 52, and work 4 lanes back past the schools, help with some of that traffic, added development. But actually, it's something we need to move forward on sooner than later, and it's very important. I'm not saying we come up with the big 780 to do the entire road, but we need to start doing a portion of the south and back to the and eventually continue to the whole thing. It's $7 million, sorry.
Yeah, and I was just gonna piggyback on what said. so that, sure would be, but, one, there are four schools there and just the safety of it is huge and the prevention. So I definitely would love to make that possible.
Thank you. I believe that project is currently listed as one of the MPO's cost feasible plan projects in the recently adopted long-range transportation plan. So it is on the MPO's radar and it is considered to be a priority project. Given that it is a county facility, it would have to be committed for construction by Pasco County.
Not-
Right now, whatever we do.
But
What do you want
not
to do?
from here. I could talk to you.
Yes, sir. We could amend the LRTP, the Long Range Transportation Plan. We could amend the cost feasible plan project list to move that into a lower band year but that's not going to really have, I mean, it would be more of a recommendation, a policy statement. That's not going to, since it is a county facility, it's not a state-owned facility. That's not going to really impact the county's funding on it.
But if we were to pay this, that would that's the condition. That's absolutely great. Really.
It would, again, being a county-owned facility, there's really not a mechanism for the state to fund the widening of that facility. It would have to be funded on a local level.
Unless we get money from the general fund like we did.
Good morning. So I just wanted to clarify the MPO's position slightly on the LRTP and what we can do with the county funds. So if we are going to work with the county to position a project on the long-range transportation plan of the list of priority projects, we can do so. Currently, it's in band year 2041 for moving forward. However, if we're looking at putting it in a position that to make it higher or quote unquote move faster, we can work with the county to assess that because it's currently one of their CIP projects. So we have to work with the county to move it along, and then we would amend our LRTP, put in our list of priority projects. So it's a collaborative effort. It's not one-sided. So I would have to work with the county to move so.
I think that would be what we would like you to do, start that dialogue, what the steps are that we need to move forward. Yes. At the board side. How we would,
Correct.
that, that's, yeah.
Mr. Chairman. So with Shady Hill tonight, I wanted to say I really appreciate my county commissioner listening to what was going on yesterday and how we were working to try to resolve this issue. County Line Road is part of one of these projects that are getting approved now. The engineer's getting it started. If that gets finished with 4 lanes, we're talking about a ton more traffic coming down Shady Hill Road. I think it should be a strategic in the whole system as far as the road added in. There's got a ton of traffic coming down. Other thing, I had a conversation with Justin Hahn yesterday, playing a little phone tag back and forth, but he talked to the Turnpike Authority because I had mentioned that we looked at the Hudson Avenue connection there. And Turnpike Authority, I don't know if there's anyone here from it today, but Justin offered the conversation he had. They're going to fund the study to go look at adding.
Nice.
it.
Howard,
So
really,
the first part is to go look at the tolls, how that'll work. Second is to get the design. It's going to be critical that we work with that together with them at some point, because part of the thing was Shady Hill Road would have to be shifted over from the thickest freight we talked about, would actually work. and we break that together. We should be working at the same time with them. So hopefully you'll be engaged with that quickly as well.
Correct. We are working with FDOT on funding Hernando County Line Road. We're currently working on the MOU with Hernando County, MPO. So and county commissioners as well. And I'm sure the MOU will make its way to your BOCC, in the near future. So all of these projects that you're discussing are coming online.
With the interchange at the turnpike, I thought was gonna be a key part to make this all happen, and that may elevate the road enough with enough freight, it's gonna want money on freight traffic, et cetera. But studying it, that could be a big freight car, because you get all those businesses out there, if those trucks can't get out, they're not gonna want to.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, do you mind just reading off what this project are, if I can?
I don't.
Hold on a second. I,
That should,
yeah, but, okay, well, I saw 54.
I'll read them to you. The first project on the list is a capacity projects for State Route 52 from Aaron Cutoff to County Route 581 for a length of 3.6 miles to widen it from 2 to 4 lanes. And again, these are all projects that were in the previously adopted TIP, so they're not new projects to the
Yeah,
sport.
the bump.
Yes, ma'am. The second project is County Line Road, which Tania just mentioned to you, the capacity project on County Line Road. The next project is a drainage project on US 19 from Laura Avenue to 5A Road. The next project is,
Mr. Chairman? So when we had this thing before, I asked for it to be added up all the way up to Wildwood as well. Did they get added in there?
Drainage on-
Drainage on 19. And I think 5A might be where that connection point is, so it's very, very close. It's like right next to it. I just want to make sure that's part of our plan.
are you asking for it to be extended to the,
It might be included. I was trying to verify that it was. If not, I want to get that. So it's literally 5A road is like right below Wildwood. And there's a train that can connect to it now that's right there. That we've had DOT out at the meetings. We're trying to look at this and develop as cooperative, but we still got to take care of the, get that water over, and that will help.
we'll follow up with that, sir. Thank you. The next project is a resurfacing project on US 98. The next project is resurfacing on State Route 56 from Bruce B. Downs Boulevard to Metapoint Boulevard. And the last two projects, well, excuse me, the next project is a traffic signal project on US 301 at the intersection of Wire Road. And the last four projects are transit projects that will be applied to Go Pasco.
So we need the motion.
Yes, 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 ma'am.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have transportation. This is Van Grant agreement.
Good morning. We have the Transportation Disadvantage Planning Grant Agreement in the amount of $36,419. This is for the Commission for Transportation Disadvantage for our local coordinating board that helps with our paratransit rides through Go Pasco, as they are the community transportation coordinator This helps us plan and program out the paratransit needs over the next year, which includes 4 board meetings, the planning documents, and overall evaluation of the coordination of the paratransit needs for Pasco County. I'm asking you to review and approve.
Do our autistic kids who go to Pepin, do they get to use this parent?
Actually, I do not want to misspeak. We actually have group hospital group. They'd like to come up and talk about how they coordinate with school. I believe they can. I believe they can, but I do not want to misspeak on their behalf.
Because I thought we had set it up.
They could. I believe they can, but I don't want to misspeak on their behalf because that would mean all of, some of Pasco County kids and all the other.
Hi, good morning, Jim Spiller, Go Pasco. We have worked with Pepin in the past. We don't provide specific service to them because we can't charter. We can't provide charter services and we can't provide.
Can't provide
School.
service in charter school. That was
Correct. Yes, because it'd be considered charter service, just like if you were to want to provide service for like anything, we can't do those types of things. But if the child applies for one of our programs and qualifies, they may be able to get the service.
More depth on point of sorry, I apologize.
Sure. So our Commission for Transportation Disadvantage, we have qualifications in there, which are financial. If you're at 125% of the poverty level, you may be applicable for that program. If you have a qualifying disability or lack of transportation within the family structure.
And what was the last one?
Lack of transportation within the family structure. Some of the
I want to tell y'all a story. But first I want to tell you that we are working to connect OC. There's a missing piece of OC from Massachusetts to OC that affects 4 schools. I've been hoping to get this done. I think when I was on the school board, so I think we're getting close. And it'll certainly help your program if kids are going to be able to use that. I have a story for you. And I might get this wrong, but Mr. Richardson called me and told me this, that there was a student that was walking from North State Road 52 to the West Campus of BJC. They got, I'm sorry, I will tell you what road they got to. And there was a bus stop. And a bus pulled up while they were walking past the bus stop, and the young man, he was going there for an orientation. The young man asked if he could get a ride. And our bus driver said he had no money. Going to school, not even enough money for a bus fare. And so our bus driver said, sure. And he took him to the campus. And he gave him a blue and white pass that allowed him to take the bus back home that day. So I have a meeting coming up on this. But thank you so much to that bus driver, and this shows the importance of this kind of transportation. All right, that was. Okay, so do you need a motion to approve? Move to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. All right. Clarity's back up. Go Pasco updates. Yeah.
My apologies. All right, I'm James Flaherty with Go Pasco. Our director, Nina Elkin, had some prior engagements, so she apologizes for not making the meeting, but she sends her regards. We're going to go over some system-wide updates. All right, so recently we completed a comprehensive operations analysis. It was a 15-month project. The study got down to the base level of every bus stop, how much ridership was where. We had outreach events. We had interviews with stakeholders, bus operators, staff, and through all that study, we identified some service areas that we can provide better service to, increase our service as a whole. So as you can see on the right side, we have our 31 route, which is Dade City. We've provided service to more Mickens and also down to the Clinton Avenue extension to Publix, and there's also a hospital that's getting service now. In the Trinity area, which is just below that, we essentially took our 23 route, which is our current route, and split it into two, and then extended service down to the YMCA and the Mitchell Plaza. On the right is Zephyr Hills. We extended our service, essentially taking parts of two other routes and combining them into this route, and then provided service further south towards the Crystal Spring. Part of the goal of the CLA was to increase our on-time performance. So we had to adjust our schedules to do that. And as you can see on the left side, we had significant increase in on-time performance on 3 of our routes. Our goal for on-time performance is 85%, so currently we're not there, but we're trending in the right direction. And what we consider to be on time is 0 to 5 minutes of your scheduled route time. If you're over 5 minutes past where you're supposed to be, you're considered late. And then obviously if you're ahead of time, you're early. So on time is 0 to 5 minutes, normal schedule. Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner,
Do you have a schedule like, to show like a bell curve of how far somebody 0 to 5 minutes, what they're going to set, what those gaps are? I mean, 20 minutes later, they 10 minutes late.
We can get down to that now with the technology that we have. Actually, if you look in the top right quadrant, it shows 5 month where our on-time performance is, whether we're early, whether we're late. We can also now start to see by the day, by the stop, before on time and things of those locations. And that's one of the great things about this new technology platform that we've integrated recently, is that we have pretty much a one-stop shop where we can look at every bus stop and see, do we have ridership? Do we not have ridership? To make a determination, do we need to have something there? That ridership data is very critical to us because it tells us that we need to adjust our routes, how we need to adjust it, is it just a scheduling issue? Also, it tells us, do we need to upgrade the amenities of that stuff? If it's being used and significant, we want to upgrade it to the shelter, and that helps us with our ADA compliance as well. So it's a great thing that we've been working with this project. Our ADA voice messages. So when we're operating the bus, you come to major intersections or areas of interest, and the bus operator has to pull down the microphone and make the announcement that you're approaching this area. Well, with this project, we have now geolocated these areas and now automated the sound. So the operator has more safety focused and focused on the road. If you were on the bus, this is the
Citizens Drive, Pasco County Government Center, Newport Richie.
Is there also like a graphic so that it's
So that takes me into our bottom right quadrant, which is our infotainment. So infotainment gives you the next 3 stops that you are approaching. So if you were approaching Little Road, it would tell you that your next stop is there, and it tells you the next 3 stops, so you can see it in advance. So that's one of the great things that we have going for us. It also gives us that infotainment gives us the ability to promote our app, which I'm going to show you a video on our next slide about the app. And also, if you look at the middle one where it says 54 East, it has a smile, you are on camera. This is critical for us. It's a great thing because it's not just actual safety, but it's also the perceived safety of the passengers on the bus. When they recognize that they're on camera and they see themselves, they're less likely to act up.
Little Road at Citizens Drive, Pasco County Government.
Okay, we also upgraded our cameras, and what you can do now, which we used to not be able to, is if there's an incident on the bus accident, we can do a live look-in. So I could go on to check the bus, what it's doing right now. Takes a lot of bandwidth, don't get me wrong, but you could actually look in. And so what I did is I took a screenshot of one of our buses, and you can see how clear the camera is. So that was a great upgrade. We also have 360-degree view within the bus and outside the bus. We included a new camera on the back of the bus, but we never had. So another great thing that we have been working with, and just the technology that our system is coming into, it's a huge leap forward. We're doing some pretty interesting things. So more features that we have. To get that bus stop level data takes APC. APCs are automatic passing cameras. Theoretically, it's just two beams of light laser that come down, and every time a person breaks those beams in a certain pattern, either to enter the bus or exit the bus, it counts it as a boarding or the lighting, and it's geolocated, so it knows exactly the bus stop that's associated. So we can see trends on where we're picking people up and not. And again, it goes back to the data collection. A real-time app. So I showed what our desktop app looks like. It's on the left-hand side right there. You could do trip planning. So if you wanted to go from here to, oh, it's over on Clinton Road, it will tell you to get on the 31 route at a specific stop at a specific time and how to get there, when you would get off, and then you could look for your return trip. It also would tell you if you had to transfer to a different bus, how to do that learning. So that's one of the nice things. It's also on your phone, so super easy. I actually was just doing it yesterday. We're using it as a tool to identify where routes are intersecting each other. So we're using the plan tools. And I have a quick video.
Giving QR code on the bus.
So we're working with that as well. Yes. We are going to be upgrading our bus stop signs. And with that, it'll have QR codes for the Google Play and Apple Store. So you can download that. Moving on to a future project, we have a multimodal transfer station that's going to be constructed in Zephyr Hills. We're currently in the design phase with construction in early 2026. We're very excited about this because currently at our transfer stations, we're either generally on the side of a public road or we're in a parking lot. Could be like Trinity Hospital, downtown League City. So there are two examples. This will give us our own facility that we can control, which is a good thing. Provides additional safety to our passengers because they're not having to cross roads necessarily to transfer. We're very excited about this. That has been great to get us the money. Another great thing is currently our operators don't have designated restroom facilities, so we have to utilize businesses. Here, they will have designated facilities to use. We'll also have an ability to take a break at the end of the run for that 5 or 10 minutes that they have that we built in, which helps their mental stability and reduces driver fatigue, which increases their safety. Another location is on the west side at Fox Hollow. Again, FDOT has been a great partner of these. Still, this one's also in the design phase, but it's going to be constructed later in 2026, about fall. So some upcoming projects. We're looking to conduct a 12-month pilot project, microtransit. An area is identified in the Hudson Shady Hills area. Some of the connections and areas within the service zone are the Sano Shelter, US 19 with our 21 route, Little Road with our 24 route, State Road 52 with our 16, the Hudson Library, and multiple shop. So service area is going to be a good first mile, last mile connectivity to our physical fixed routes and also provide service with it. So same day service with a premium. Mobile ticketing is another project that we're working on. The attorney's office is working with the vendor to create the agreement. What it does is gives you a digital bus pass that's on your phone. So you can purchase it either in your wallet or anything else. Reduces the amount of time people have to come into our physical locations to purchase a bus pass. If they can just do everything from the phone and show it to the operator puts it into the system. So It'll be extremely convenient when we are able to integrate that. And Commissioner Yeager, back to your QR code question, we will also be integrating the mobile bus pay app. It worked out an agreement through a QR code that's going to be on our websites.
Mr. Chairman. Question for you. Just up in DC, they used to have these cards when taken away. That you would have, take the card, replenish it, now they get a simple thing on the app. You can just have, put your credit card, set it up, and now you don't even have to open up your phone. You just be walking up, you just like cover over the top, it registers you, takes the money, and there they go. Do you see anything like that type of technology coming your way?
Interesting. I know when we went out for our bid, we went for a bid that did not include hardware because we had the flamingo in the past and it didn't necessarily work. But you're saying that it's actually just
You didn't want it to, it's so easy. We just,
Oh, smart trip.
smart trip?
I love the possibility.
Like somebody,
No idea.
doesn't get the card off his that, go the card back in, which is a hassle. We listen to him, tell you, thing right away. Literally, but open it up, hold it, takes it, registers.
Okay. I mean, theoretically, the system that we're going to is similar to that, but yes, you have to physically open it to show the operator. It's almost like going into a baseball.
This takes everything out of it. They can quicker to get them on out there, but again, if some of those, once you use once, it's pretty much. They will never smart.
The good thing is with the mobile ticketing, we're not sending any money because there's no physical hardware. It's all just profit share. Profit share. So as people who are purchasing, they get 10% or X% of the sales, and then we get them. Yeah, we're not physically spending any money on that. Okay, I'm moving forward to the 88 bus stop enhancements. You can see in the picture that we have a couple that were completed. The top one is a shelter that was at Bayonet Point Hospital. And then the bottom one is a bench pad that will be installed across the street from the Hudson Line. A couple future projects are Emerald Boulevard in Hudson. We connect with Fernando's the bus there. And so we're installing a shelter pad along the shelter. So that way we have better connectivity. Currently, it's just grass and dirt. So it's going to be a good amenity for our passengers with both systems. In Trilby, we identified 5 locations that we're going to be upgrading the bus stops. Currently, again, they are nothing but a sign and dirt and grass. We're going to upgrade them to bench pads and boarding light amenities to Trilby. In Moon Lake, we're incorporated into the sidewalk project over there. So we're going to be installing boarding and lighting pads along with bench pads on Lake Drive, Catalona, Banbury, and Bedford. So
So if someone's buying it and they're trying to get to work, will it tell them the bus is running?
it tells you, you could select the bus stop that you're getting on, and it tells you either, you can choose either what time it'll be there or how many minutes until it gets there. And if there is a notification where like, the bus broke down, there's also notifications that we put at this.
I had a question also on the Trilby area. I've had someone reach out to me about the bus stop on Highway 98, just south of 575 Trilby Road. And I don't know if at some point with all the highway improvements, there will be sidewalks along US Highway 98 between 301 and the Hernando County line. But to get to that bus stop pad on US 98, just south of Trilby Road, Highway 575, there is no sidewalk connection. They have to walk through the grass, and someone's disabled trying to get to that bus stop. That means that they are in the bicycle lane, which is not an ideal situation for someone who's disabled to get to that. They also had asked about shelter here. But if we could work, whether that's with highway construction or just a very simple, it's not a very far distance from that intersection there, that roundabout, to that bus stop area where the pad and bench are. just to allow for some type of sidewalk for safer walking from the intersection down to that bus stop.
Okay, we could work with the MPO and see if we can get some projects associated with that. Yep. And State Road 54, just this last week, they installed boarding and lighting pads and bench pads between Marathon and Duck Highway.
Are there any cameras at those, on those shelters?
Cameras, no.
And I have one question not related to this, but did we go anywhere with bike racks spending? A couple bikes? Buses?
So we've looked into the options, talking with bus operators. The issue becomes twofold. Some of our turns are just too tight for that third bike because the distance that it has to go out, and also it obstructs their line of vision. So it's not ideal to go 3 out.
Would they bring the bike in onto the bus?
That's what I was gonna
And
ask.
then I've ridden a train, yeah, in Europe where they have a place at the bus or the train car or whatever for bikes. Like a bungee thing and all the.
So we looked at the configuration of our internal buses. If we were to try and retrofit an internal bike rack, we would have to remove seating, and it also affects our ADA area because when you get on our bus, we have 2 on each side. We have seats that fold up, and then wheelchair mobility devices are secured in those locations, and they have to have a wall on the backside that they secure it to. If we were to try to put a bike rack in there, we'd be affecting that bus. Then once you hit the back area of where the secure lifts are, you now have 2 steps to go up to the back of the bus.
And you could even have one bike put up for that.
Sorry.
If you have 2 bikes on the bus, couldn't you fit one bike in the bus?
Looking at the configurations that we have currently with our buses, we could not. Just because it would affect, like I said, there's a wall that's installed on the bus for the securements.
I'm just
And then
thinking,
there's the door.
that population ride the bus for work.
Mhm.
Whole other rotation.
And hope that they're not sending already on the.
I know if it's the last run of the day, then they let them bring it in, but they have to help secure it. But it's usually just because it's going to be the last one, we try and help them.
What about putting the back of the bus on the outside?
Putting a bike rack on the back of the bus?
Yeah, yep, up on the back.
Well, we would have to look into that because that's where the door to the engine is. Where that folds up and out. So I don't know if we would be able to figure that. But definitely we could take it in as a note and look to see if it's feasible.
Does it affect any visibility? If you have it on the door, it's gonna be strong enough to wrap in the car.
Yeah.
The way, yeah, the way the hitches are set up, you could take the pin out and slide it out or remove it if you had it work on the engine.
We're passionate about it. Trying to figure it out. That's good.
We can look into seeing if there is, I don't even know if they've developed that, to be honest. I don't know. We can look into it. Yeah, I'm gonna get into the bike rack business.
I mean, more and more people ride their bikes to work.
Yeah.
See it.
It's a lot.
We're, a lot of speed lines.
Most people for jobs, they're late.
And the last upcoming project is Route 41. We're bringing a route along 41. It's going to provide service to the utilities building, the tax collector's office, Heritage Park, and shopping centers with connection to our current 54 route and future routes on 52 and future routes on Rick.
That is very good. As where our utility building is, where the jail lets folks out and just see them walking down the road, walking down State Road. So that'll have fun.
Yep.
That'll make sure that a way for them to get a bus pass.
With your Oakland?
Yeah. Is there any future route going to cover County Road 52, which would service San Antonio, St. Cleo, City of St. Cleo, and University.
So in our 10-year vision plan, we have service along 52 and it's going up into Dade City. Now, it's not a specific
I'm talking
defined
about county,
route. Right.
not state.
Yes, sir. So it's not a currently defined route as of right now, but it could be within our planning curriculum to look at providing service along County Road 52 at that area for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's going to be in the near future some development all happening around St. Louis, the golf course and all to develop some of that, the city of St. Louis. And also the St. Louis University, University of Stockton there.
Yep.
There have a lot of people involved.
Okay. Yep. We'll definitely put that into our planning considerations for sure. Are there any further questions?
Just I appreciate your efforts in getting real-time data coming to the people. I just was looking at the app myself, just playing with it a little bit. And also, I think it's critical that we try and make the shelter as comfortable as possible. Because it's 95 degrees out there. If you're sitting there waiting on a bus, shade is a good thing to have. It rains all the time, so I think we need to make effort to make it any of the bus stops have these proper shelter as you can. And thanks again.
They convert.
Make sure you know you have those bottles in between, so
Yeah.
that you get sick, that way out. Yes.
Right.
Anyone else?
Yeah, you got that prior slide of this, that it was a station. Where exactly is this one at?
This is on Fox Hollow Drive. in
Okay.
Newport Richey. It's just
That's
east.
Fort Ritchie down at the bottom.
Fort Ritchie. Yeah, it's just east of 19.
Okay, yeah.
This is our property, start, what, is this our utilities or?
Lee is just to the right of it. I believe they're also have that property in transparency.
Commissioner Ariano, it's like we could upgrade the look of that facility.
So we're actually going to try to, get to the right side, we are going to try to do something, but finish the design,
Appreciate it.
jump to that.
Anyone else?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're gonna move on to status reports and presentations. We have a request to bump up number 10 first. Let them let somebody in. I will start with Pasco County Parks, Recreation, Natural Resources Department Trail Wayfinding Plan Presentation. Che Yang.
Good morning, board members. My name is Jay Yan. I am the senior planner with Pasco Park, Recreation and Natural Resource Department. Together, today I'm presenting the trail wayfinding plan together with Erin Swanson.
Hi, good morning. Ann Swanson with Pasco County Transportation Engineering Department.
This plan has been developed by Parks Department in partnership with Transportation Engineering Department. Today, we're really excited to share our progress with you and looking forward to your feedback. Slide. Oh, sorry, I didn't really click this. There we go. Hello. So this a quick overview of what we'll be covering today. We will begin with the intent and purpose, following our timeline of how we got here. And then we'll share some of the existing signage standards as well as examples. Then we will showcase our designs, next steps, and then we will open it up for discussion and feedback. First, I will hand over to Erin, explain why we started this plan.
All right, hello. So as most of you may know, I have been the project manager for the Orange Belt Trail. During that preliminary design phases, I was looking into our trailhead designs, and I realized that a lot of the research that's done with FDOT standards and things like that, they don't have a SOP or a standard for wayfinding. So through our discussions with parks as well as the planning department, it was decided that it would be a great idea for the county to develop a standard. And so again, with the collaboration of the Transportation Engineering Department, Parks and Planning, we have developed this presentation for you that we're going to adopt and utilize on all of our major spine trails. So Suncoast Trail, Coastal Anclote, Withlacoochee State Trail, Orange Belt Trail, and Starkey, with the Gap Starkey Wilderness. So, thank you.
On that, we want this plan to be a living document to allow some flexibility, meaning that when a new trail is added or a new center is being established, we'll be able to incorporate those changes into our plan. Next, I want to cover a little bit about our timeline. We started this process about around 1 year ago. We started by visioning and reviewing some of our existing signage. Then we reach out to key agencies, including FDOT, FDEP, which is the main agency that oversee and managing Coast to Coast Trail. And we also reach out to surrounding counties within the Coast to Coast Trail Alliance. Through that, we find some best practice and some standards that they share. With that, we develop the designs in-house, and we gather input from the internal staff as well as other departments. And after that, we revise our designs. Now we're bringing the designs to you for a review and feedback. After that, we'll finalize the plan and then ready for implementation. Here is a map showing the location of all our major existing and future trails. And we also highlight the coast to coast trail there for your reference. So as I mentioned before, we reach out to different agencies intended to find establish a wayfinding signage standard. However, we couldn't literally find one. The closest one that we find is this one, the Coast to Coast Trail Implementation and Marketing Guide, which was developed in 2017. It provides a preliminary design of wayfinding. However, it didn't develop furthermore, and it was not adopted as a wayfinding standard across the Coast to Coast Trail Alliance. However, a couple counties did use the design and color scheme for their signs, which we'll share in the next few slides. Here are some examples. Here are directional signs from different counties. So you can see here the signs from Volusia and Pinellas counties. They adopted the similar design and color scheme from the 2017 marketing guide, though their designs are still slightly different from each other. And Orange County developed a completely different design. While Lake County, they developed a modular system for their directional signage. It's worth noting that when we reach out to FDEP, they have mentioned that the design wayfinding from Lake County is considered the best across the Coast to Coast Trail Alliance. What did you say? Say that again. Oh, when we reach out to FDP, they mentioned that they consider the wayfinding system done by Lake County is the best across the Coast to Coast Trail Alliance.
That you change out the sign.
They have like more, I'll cover that later. Here are some mile marker examples. Again, because there's no design standard developed within that 2017 marking guide. So each county is doing their own thing with their mile marker. Here are some maps. Again, Volusia County used the design and color scheme from that 2017 marketing guide, while the other two counties developed their own designs. From this review, one of the key findings that we have is there's no universal standard for trail wayfinding signage. Now within the Coast to Coast Trail or Florida State. during this process that we really solidify our goals, that we want our signage to be clear, simple, modular, and easy to update. And for now, we're prioritizing these three major type of signage, which are directional signs, mile markers, and maps. And then we will consider other type of wayfinding signage as needed as we move along. Here are the designs. This is our directional sign. As you can see, we reference the design from Lake County. For one, we believe it's easier to see the different destination. The second is that this design is favorable for our operational staff, as it's easy to be updated, or for example, a new destination, a new park is added, it's easy to swap out and update this sign without replacing the whole sign. The other feature that we adapted from the Lake County design is to assign a thin color for every major trail. So that will make trail user to easily distinguish from trail to trail. And the locations for this directional sign will be at county lines and major intersections.
Kim, would you go back to that slide? Could you go back to that slide? Yeah, please. So what I like about Lake County is it shows you like we get something. There's an afro. Right, those things you want to know. The direction's right as well. So it looks like you're leaving that out over here. Did I?
I also, I don't like that top blue. I mean, everybody's different. It's not very pretty. I don't want to say, there's no logo. It's just, it's very generic, where it says next to them.
Something like,
Yeah. Could you just marry the two? Because I thought that the Pinellas and the Volusia County signs were actually really pretty, but I see the utilitarian benefits of being able to change things out. So I'd like you to work on it a little more, make it a little more festive. Also, I've seen this for many years, especially when I was on the Board of Humanities Council, where communities have those, what are those squares where you can take your phone?
QR code.
Yeah, QR codes. And you can hit the QR code and you can see what's around restaurants, stores, you know, something. So I'd love to have these be a little more interactive and have I know that'll take a little time, but have some QR codes with some information that lead to some history, whatever.
Right. And in our BPAC meeting, and then I believe our technical advisory committee, we received that feedback as well. The one thing we will be working on is where that QR code will lead to. And that is something the county currently does not have on our website. So some ideas we've thought of is using the Pasco Mapper public version to help direct folks for other, especially once we develop an active transportation plan layer for that. That will help them lead to other trails and parks and things like that. But we will certainly work on that and figure out what the best route for that QR code to lead our residents to. And then as far as the signage, so
You guys looked at Colorado to what they're doing with that. Colorado, like Boulder. I mean, the trail system's phenomenal. They got a lot of things to get to. I didn't go on the trail, so I don't know, but it seems to me that with that much activity, I'm sure they're directing people to different places. And I think they might give you some benefit by taking a look into it.
I just have one comment, just piggyback, like, teacher sort of said, like, where it says Sun Coach Trail. I like the idea of like kind of incorporating, like our logo is very pretty for Pasco County. And if you look at like, Lake, their sign is very pleasing to the eye.
They have the coast to coast logo. We don't have it.
Yeah,
It's very pretty.
I don't
Down
like.
at the bottom.
Yeah, kind of the bottom around, maybe the color.
Yeah, it is, I don't like people are like.
Now, like, the Suncoast Trail actually has its own look. Our former Jim Slaughter, who was head of parks, they designed it. So, good start.
Yeah, make it. And I love at the bathrooms, you know.
And also, I know you're talking about wayfinding, but when, with the maps, I didn't really see anything on the west side.
We have the coastal Blackfoot Trail and the trail going up 19. Oh, you're talking about, yeah, and they just
It's
expanded it,
Richie.
so make sure you get that. The, what do you call it?
I don't think official. but
Mariner.
Red Boulevard comes up to
Don't,
19
don't,
south.
don't.
Yeah. We have a, we designed it going through our city
Those
and
are
I
Now they added up.
Other state, all,
Playground.
other state, all the way to southwest, we've got another trail going up there too.
But I'm really excited to see this. I'm gonna be late to my, I want to wait to it. There was a time that we had $1 million set aside for wayfinding. Because part of the importance of wayfinding, in my opinion, is the economic impact that can bring to businesses around the trail. So we want to be sure that we are able to put that information out to people, because people come from all over the world to ride the coast of the river. And so they have no idea what's around, and just really want them to be able to find them to businesses are looking. And our other parks
By every,
on every. Are there any other slides? Yeah. Okay.
So next, this is our mile markers. Again, we reference the Lake County design, since I think it's easy to read, and also it will be easy to update, install by our operational staff. And this trail marker will be placed every half mile from the southern end, continuing northward.
we'll do it every half a month.
And then just one comment for these mile markers, the top color will change depending on what trail it is following. So for the Orange Belt Trail, it has like a lighter orange color. Both of that color will change.
Commissioner, a lot of the purpose for having mile markers is for emergency services. So you could say we're just past this. If something happened. So that's part of the purpose. So maybe that's.
Yeah, your trail.
Right.
And there is a logo on it.
All right, so for the map design, these will be located at our trailheads. These designs are large enough to where folks who are cycling can easily view them. They're 7 foot tall and 4 feet wide. Here's a closer look at what the sign content will have included. And again, this is where that feedback of a QR code was brought up previously in our BPAC meeting. And the signage will have the map of the general aerial, as you can see in the bottom right corner, as well as a larger overview of the trail alignment.
My issue with that going back is you're not showing the connect. This is just, you're just not done this. I mean, in my opinion, you should, and I saw it on the other map, you're calling out the main trail, which you did. But actually, can you go back or below that? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Closer up. So the trail going through the Starkville Park is not sunset. So why, what you're showing there is the coast to coast, not the sunset.
Well, the idea would be this map specifically would be at a Suncoast Trail trailhead. And the color coding, as you can see where the Starkey Wilderness Trail traverses through the Starkey Wilderness, that will be color coded green so folks can see it on the map. But alongside this map, there will be wayfinding the signage, the directional signage to indicate to our users which direction and how far away other trails and other amenities are.
Wouldn't put them on this map, but you have your base trail and then your minor and secondary trails that connect it.
Which trail specifically?
Like, well, the trail that goes down Massachusetts.
Oh, like general multi-use paths?
Um, there's, there is a trail on Ridge Road. There's other trails that do connect to this. I would certainly do.
Mr. Chairman. So I'm looking at, we have Starkey Wilderness Trail, Park Trail, Shared Use Path, Gap Trail. Is there a way to change the language to make it one? It's all just make it that one section.
Well, that's what I was saying, but they're saying that this would be, this sign would be on the Suncoast Trail.
Correct.
If you had this on the coast to coast trail, say it starts with that or something, it would be the coast to coast logo. And then I would guess, and then it would be just the cycling of it.
Correct. So you would see this like at State Road 54 in the Suncoast Trail, that trailhead.
But again, just simplify the sign. If all that is just like one piece and it's three different pieces, three different things, should we just like maybe work on modifying that name to be one thing? Rather than three different things, I mean, yeah, shared use of wilderness. Just make it one name and you just stop and create. Why do you want to call it three different things? Not going on there.
Oh, definitely. Those all trails all do have separate names
Right. So,
for whatever reason. Well, they're all built different.
right. So it's something.
And these aren't gonna be right on the trail, these will be, folks parking.
Well, sometimes I think you need to have them when you make it. Is it Longland? So Longland, what's the park in Tampa, in Hillsborough?
Blue Streets Lake Burn?
No, the big one that's by Hillsborough River. There's a big park there, that has a nice off-road and on-road, Grizzly Downs. Anyway, there's signs, when you come to an intersection, you gotta come in, turn right or left, they do that, so they're not in the trailhead, but they're in the pond. Flatwoods, I said pond, flatwoods. So. Okay, I'm gonna listen to Reverend, you already.
We'll do it long. Thank you.
Thanks. Yes.
Sure.
It should be used online for me.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have a virtual presentation. FHWA 2025 Federal Certification Review.
One second.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Again, good morning. I'm here today to present to you the Tampa St. Petersburg TMA 2025 Certification Summary and Findings for the Pasco County MPO. Next slide. The site visit was held on January the 28th. The federal review team consisted of Curling Thomas, Carlos Gonzalez, Carrie Shepard, Aries Little, and Jason Morgan. Next slide. The next slide shows the map and location of the Tampa Bay St. Petersburg TMA, which includes Pasco County MPO, Hillsborough, and Pinellas MPO. Next slide. Okay. The federal review team found 5 noteworthy practices, 4 recommendations, and no corrective actions. The first noteworthy practice was regarding the Metropolitan Planning Organization structure. The federal review team commends the Pasco MPO for its collaboration with Pasco County and other planning and transportation partners, nurtured in an environment of mutual respect and focusing interconnectivity and other integral elements of the planning process. The Pasco County MPO Executive Director regularly meets one-on-one with board members to listen to concerns, answer questions, and discuss projects, programs, and activities. The second noteworthy practice was on safety considerations in the planning process. The federal review team commends the Pasco County MPO for its extensive, highly visible road safety audits in Zephyr Hills. The MPO ensured participation at all levels, including elected officials, technical experts, and area residents, maximizing an audit and making it a successful marketing platform for the MPO. Next slide. The Third noteworthy practice was regarding the MPO's outreach and public participation. The Pasco County MPO conducted an exemplary outreach during the development and implementation of its long-range transportation plan. Strategies included targeted outreach, a new website, and various workshops to educate the public and feedback. In addition to the outreach events, the MPO demonstrated an ability to coordinate and join forces with local entities to provide information and solicit input. The MPO took excellent advantage of MetroQuest, obtaining a record number of survey results for over 1,100 individual participants. Next slide. The fourth noteworthy practice was regarding the scope of the long-range transportation plan. The Federal Review team was impressed by the data-driven needs-based process for the MPO uses to identify projects for the cost-feasible plan. Given limited resources, the MPO uses a clear project prioritization process that reflects the goals and objectives of the plan Innovate Pasco 2050. The MPO finds that data-driven decision-making promotes transparency, enhances public trust, and precludes project advancement on unclear or subjective basis. The fifth noteworthy practice was regarding the Transportation Improvement Program. The Federal Review team commends Pasco County MPO for adoption of an interactive outreach platform for sharing its tip and list of priority projects. The new tip is searchable and has several features that enable the MPO, government officials, and the public to easily locate and obtain projects in the tip. Next slide. The Federal Review team provided 4 recommendations to assist the MPO in their planning process. The first one is related to agreements. The Federal Review team recommends the Pasco County MPO complete an evaluation of the current coordination process with FDOT to ensure the annual list of obligated projects include transit projects. The second recommendation was regarding transit. The Federal Review team recommends current processes are documented to ensure transit safety targets are adopted, updated, and reflected directly or by reference in the long-range transportation plan and the Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan. The third recommendation was regarding the Unified Planning Work Program. The Federal Review team recommends that the Pasco County MPO reevaluate the frequency of the UPWP update process to ensure the document remains current and ensure the most up-to-date UPWP is on the MPO website. Lastly, the fourth recommendation is also regarding the UPWP. The Federal Review team recommends all federal fund sources be clearly identified in the UPWP. Additionally, the Federal Review team recommends the MPO ensures FTA Formula 5307 and Transit Discretionary Planning Awards are programmed in the Unified Planning Work Program as outlined by the appropriate guidance. Thank you. This concludes the Tampa-St. Petersburg TMA 2025 certification, closeout, and findings for the Pasco County MPO. Are there any questions?
No, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the Pasco County Freight Plan Phase 1 presentation. Scott Perry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
As I shared with you earlier, the Pasco MPO staff began the development of a countywide freight transportation plan at the beginning of the year. The plan's development was split into two phases across two separate fiscal years. Phase one of the plan was developed through the winter and the spring of this year and was completed on June 30th. The staff was assisted with the plan's development by Alfred Benesh Company. The MPO staff will continue its partnership with Benesh to complete phase two of the freight plan. Mr. Robert Kersey, Transportation Group Manager with Benesh, is with us today to present to us an overview of the work performed on the freight plan in phase one and to share about the work upcoming in phase two.
Thank you, Scott. It's great to be here today. I'm Rob Kersey with Finish. I'm the project manager for the Pasco County Freight Plan. I'm going to start by illustrating the context, really showing some aerial drone shots that were taken this year. First few are actually of existing infrastructure and trucks navigating the roadways within Pasco County. This is State Road 52 at Pasco Road and Trailwood Boulevard. That is the new State Road 52, and you see that in that shot, this divided vehicle is a truck. There's a roundabout that's actually at US 98 and Trilby Road. A lot of roundabouts being built in the eastern part of the county right now, and they are being built mountable aprons for us to navigate and negotiate those intersections. Once again, same area, US 98 in Dade City. Wait.
75, 52. Is the plan for that intersection to run about? Because you gotta know it's a disaster there at any given time. It's put trucks to, it's horrible. I'll leave it just that. Description. And DOT can't move fast enough to fix it. My opinion.
DOT is evaluating it right now. And coming up with some potential alternatives. There are some folks from the DOT who may have something to add to that. The MPO going through this study will be coordinating what FDOT is doing. And this will be.
Yes, my the sense of urgency that needs to happen 52 and 75 up to all that spread needs to be there in my opinion. And I say that very respectfully and appreciatively. So I'll just leave with that.
Duly recognized and noted. And this is one that's just coming online at US 98 and Old Lakeland Highway. So we're getting a good introduction to roundabout design accommodating all vehicles, including heavy trucks. And we're going to be able to very quickly see just how well they are performing. That is, it said Flying J. The next group of photos that I have here to illustrate it more on the land use side, and actually the demand side has more industrial facilities, warehouses, distribution centers are coming online. This one specifically is at State Road 54 and Sun Lake Boulevard. This one is the Target warehouse, built as the Target warehouse, just north of State Road 52 off of Pasco Road. Not yet operational, not generating any traffic, but we keep driving that.
It can take its time at this point.
This is a location that was discussed a little bit earlier. This is actually the Sun Coast and Shady Hill Road. And as you know, in that area, there's a mix of land uses, including the school, some new industrial and warehousing coming online, We also have some heavy refuge facilities in the area that are county operated, as well as schools. So the whole Shady Hills Road and Hayes Road complex is very important for that portion of the county, especially because unlike some of the other photos that I've shown, these are not state roads, these are county roads. And this is the new Amazon distribution center, which is going in at State Road 52 and Valley Brothers on the other side of the interchange. Here's an example of how the county has taken the lead in providing more access and more capacity near a warehouse facility. This is actually kind of middle of the photo there. You actually see Overpass Road going over I-75. And this is actually Old Pasco Road as it comes down past the new residential development and provides access there to a mixed-use industrial warehouse facility. So that kind of states some of the context, and I'm going to go through a status update of where we stand with the project coming out of phase 1 and going into phase 2 and what we will be accomplishing in the next 6 months. Purpose of the study is to perform a comprehensive analysis of the Pasco County freight transportation system. Such an analysis has not been done and documented. This is the first Pasco freight study. Our objectives are to improve operating efficiencies and performance. Our crew is going to speak to the infrastructure and how it was designed for trucks and facilities where trucks are operating. Improve accessibility and connectivity, is what's referred to in the industry as the first mile, last mile, how do we get to those final destinations and trip generators. And enhance economic development opportunities strengthening the county. The county's been looking for economic development for a long time, as we see from the illustrations it is here, at least from the industrial and warehousing side. So what this study will be doing is trying to merge the land use and transportation needs. Phase 1 has just been completed, as Scott stated. It really dealt with a lot of the fact finding and inventory of existing facilities and doing an existing condition analysis. One of the biggest items we had here was the outreach and stakeholder engagement, primarily with a lot of the internal Pasco County departments, agencies, the Economic Development Council, to really find out what's going on with existing development and challenges with approval of development and coming up with a complementary supportive infrastructure at the county level. Phase 2 will really get into analyzing the data that we collected in phase 1 and really focus on the development of the plan and the implementation. So what did we learn from phase 1? We've mapped a lot of the existing infrastructure and facilities. FDOT District 7 just wrapped a district-wide strategic freight plan for the 5-county area last year. So we're going to build upon that. The state does a great job of keeping up with what's going on with the state facility and providing state facilities and providing funding for the state roads. We want to partner with them and build upon what they've done and really get into what the county can do at the local level, from land use, providing that first mile, last mile, like connectivity. So the timing of this study is very good in the fact that we're following right on what was done in the state, and we can build upon that work that's already been done. We took a look at traffic volume, both where our trucks within the existing infrastructure, both on the state facilities, and we also pulled the data then from Pasco County Traffic Operations Department. So we got the off-system facilities also. So we looked at sheer truck volume as well as percent trucks. And we're still going to focus our effort on where those trucks are and try to make sure that we are addressing needs in those areas. Talked a lot about trucks. This is more of a multimodal analysis. It will consider airports and rail. You don't have any rail facilities within Pasco County, and you have one airport size in the Zephyrhills Hills Airport, which currently does not carry a freight. So We are addressing those and taking note, especially from the rail side, from more of a safety standpoint as far as closing roadways when the gates are down, our trains are present. From a safety standpoint and also from a operation standpoint, whenever those gates are down, it does close. But primarily, as you can imagine, with some of the demonstrations I had earlier, 95% of our work is going to be done with the truck network and the road network. This is just a map heat map of showing the industrial land use within the area. We started out, of course, looking at everything within Pasco County, but once you actually start to narrow down to where the industrial land uses are and where they currently are in proximity to the state roadway network, we really are able to pretty quickly zoom in and narrow down to some specific hotspots, like some of the aforementioned ones, to really focus our efforts in coming up with our study recommendations. Plan. Capacity is an issue. We want to take a look at where is current congestion, where is future congestion. Obviously, trucks are using the same facilities as our motorists, our commuters, our local trips. So if there's congestion for one type of vehicle, there's congestion for all. One of the things that we can do as the Pasco network continues to develop, especially with more of a secondary roadway network outside of the state facilities, you can actually start to focus more on the local trips and getting the separation between the motoring public and the trucks. So our schedule is, we're about to launch into phase 2 here in August. Kind of break it into the components of a couple of months. We're really focused on assessing and identifying the needs. A couple of months we're going to spend taking those needs and turning them into recommendations, and then look to prioritize those. And then provide documentation, as Scott mentioned, wrapping everything up by the end of March. That gives us plenty of time to come to you, go back to the committees, take input, refine our study findings and our documentation, and have everything finalized earlier at when our task work order is set to expire in June of next year. This is the deliverables that we have. And this is the stakeholder engagement. These are all the folks who we've been talking to so far. We promised them that after we introduced the study to them and gave them a presentation very similar to what we've just spoken with you about, and we'll come back to them with needs and recommendations and get them buy-in. A lot of interest in this study. I think one of the key takeaways in talking to the county staff is that they really do want us to identify a freight network in a hierarchy for the county. So they know where we're recommending to focus truck routes and the facilities that trucks are to use. That will help them in their approval of land use and development, as well as design criteria for those facilities to make sure that they accommodate trucks. So that will be a primary outcome of this study. Will be a map being built upon what was done with the FDOT study and complement that. But that's going to be a good tool on the policy side. Other outcomes of this study will be identifying specific products along the ways or corridors where improvements need to be made to accommodate trucks. Also, operational improvements at major intersections. Much of the delay in starting and stopping trucks and really impacting the operation of the facility as at traffic signals. So we're really drill down and have those type of improvements. So everything from operations to potential capacity improvements to policies will be outcomes of this study. Scott's my project manager at the MPO, and there's our contact information. I'll entertain any questions. Very good. Thank you very much. All right.
Next up, we have Zephyr Hills Multi-Role Transportation Plan presentation. Vandenberg.
Morning again, Todd Vandenberg, I'm the planning director for the city of Zephyr Hills. PowerPoint, the PowerPoint I have to present to you today, I'll just begin by sharing our staff and city council place a high priority on mobility and transportation.
So we've been working on that for the past year. That'll be sharing some information with you today. Two main things we were involved with. One was freight mobility plan. We went to the state, got a DEO grant to help us prepare for a mobility plan. Work with Rob Kersey, who's just up here, and Tammy Brown, with consulting to create a mobility plan. A lot of that information then we pulled from the mobility plan and inserted into our transportation mobility element that's been brought through the city and to the state for approval. So that'll start with the presentation. So what was driving the mobility and transportation? We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll discuss a little bit the mobility needs and opportunities what we have and some of the planning that we're involved with that I alluded to, and some priority strategies, and even more so it's not on there, the partnering we're looking to do. So what's driving this? I think we all realize that Zephyr Hills, Pasco County, we're growing at tremendous rate. It's always difficult from transportation multimodal facilities to keep pace with all the residential that's occurring. And we realize how important the economic resiliency is, having a good land use balance and making sure we're preserving land for non-residentials, particularly manufacturing, light industrial, that allow for keeping good quality jobs in Pasco County. And some of the planning, that we'll talk a little bit today from the city, working with the MPO, with the state on key decisions. So going back here, here's the mobility plan that we work with Rob Kersey and his team. We called it Going Places, our Zephyr Hills Mobility Plan. This was done last year. We had a lot of community engagement, a lot of city staff, a lot of your Pasco County planners and MPO staff attended and helped us facilitate that process of community engagement. Had a lot of really good ideas that came out of that. From the ideas, we identified and prioritized problem areas, transportation, mobility wise, and have come up with recommended solutions. And so what were those needs and opportunities? We kind of broke them down into 5 key areas: traffic congestion, our walkability, infrastructure, traffic safety, bus service, transit, and the importance of integrating transportation and land use into our planning efforts. So what's our plan? So we went through the whole mobility plan, got that approved, got that adopted, and took a lot of that information we incorporated into our comprehensive plan transportation mobility element. Just like the county, we're also updating our comprehensive plan. So a lot of that information is very helpful. We started with the transportation mobility element because it was such a high priority for us. So here's some of the strategies and some of the highest priorities that we've talked about. Want to look at traffic safety, identify the areas in the city where we've had traffic safety issues and prioritize those. I'll show some slides on walking, bike infrastructure, trails, what we're doing with public transit. Talk a little bit about road capacity and transportation land use. So here's safety. Just one slide where we kind of identified in the right-hand slide there is right across near Zephyr Park on State Road 54. Checking with our police, this is an area where we had some crashes, pedestrian crashes, some fatalities actually. So we wanted to prioritize this location and put a signalized crosswalk. So we're going to be placing that as a priority to get a signalized crosswalk there. We also want to look holistically at our streets and adopt a complete street design standard. So that's some shots of our downtown and other areas, what a difference complete street design standards can make from a safety standpoint. Here's kind of an interesting area, new topic that we've just developed with our community redevelopment area, and it's called a Greenway Loop. And you see it's kind of in their downtown core where City Hall is, Stewart Middle School, kind of right in the core of downtown, that we wanted to identify and prioritize a loop for pedestrians and bicycle. And on the right there, you see kind of the typical section with the roads, the sidewalk, and actually a 12-foot wide trail with lighting and landscaping that we're looking to implement and construct this upcoming years. And of course, reimagining Gulf Boulevard has been a high priority for us. I think y'all know it's been on the books for years, actually decades, to make improvements. And we have a form-based code that's been adopted in downtown. So getting that transportation infrastructure in place will really help facilitate that development and redevelopment in the downtown, where you're seeing Gulf Boulevard right now is bi-directional, and our one-way pair is paralleling Gulf on 6th and 7th Street. On the right side, you see some conceptual renderings of how Gulf Boulevard could be transformed into a complete street and really change the look and aesthetics of that important corridor more south through Zephyr Hills. And we want to support new types of development, redevelopment along Gulf Boulevard within our form-based code. So y'all are familiar with that. You've seen the different types of mixed-use development that our form-based code now allows. And so we're trying to develop some catalyst sites and working with developers and property owners to help facilitate this type of mixed-use development along the corridor. Again, the transportation, we've got to figure that out and get the final design done for the corridor. That'll help us. Big part of it. The trails, you've heard a lot about the trails, so good segue into this. We've identified 3 high priority trail projects, and one of them is the Fort King Road. We have trail on Simons Road coming off of Island Boulevard, and we want to continue the trail from Simons Road down Fort King all the way back to Island Boulevard. We list that as our high priority. Geiger Road is another project that we're working on right now with Pasco County. It just got resurfaced, and also looking to put sidewalk and trail on that between 301 and Island. And then Wire Road is a important road north-south that terminates at County Road 54, where Zephyr Hills High School is. A lot of people walk on that road. There's no sidewalks. So we've got a trail that's been started from Creek Pond south to Daughtry Road. So now we got to get that trail road continued down south to County Road 54. So even though these are all county roadway projects, we're taking the lead in this. So we're working with Kinley Horn right now to do the design engineering to get that done. It's that high of a priority for us to get these projects done. So we're gonna get, we're just doing the scope of services right now with Kinley Horn, and then we'll continue with the design engineering and hope to partner with the county to hopefully partner to get these 3 high priority projects done. We're looking at public transit too. Our council, Lance isn't here anymore, but our council wanted us to, Councilman Smith was a driver on this, wanted us to look at we know still Pasco, the county, but we wanted to prioritize our bus stop locations with the higher ridership and get shelters put in. So here's an example of this type of shelter on 3 locations that we're just finishing about 90% on the design engineering of these facilities, and we're going to be putting these in ourselves the upcoming fiscal year. And of course, you saw the bus transfer station that we're excited about and working with Pasco as well. Y'all are aware of the high priority road projects. Capacity, of course, was talked about with mobility and transportation element, community meetings. Y'all aware of all the industrial, and I got some slides coming up on that. Got to get Chancey Road 4-lane. And if we get that 4-lane, you get to the intersection of Chancey and County Road 54. We can get County Road 54 4-laned out to all the way to 98. Of course, 98's being 4-lane right now. So, and then that just helps us get improved mobility for the trucks that Mr. Kersey was just talking about. 301's, of course, on there. We've already talked about that, but Island Boulevard's a high priority for Zephyr Hills, which goes around Zephyr Hills and south to Morris Bridge. Y'all know what a priority Morris Bridge is. So we can get that whole corridor 4-laned. It would be great for Southeast Pasco County. The other proactive stance the city has taken, I've worked with Kinley Horn, and we've identified traffic hotspots, hot zones map. And what we did is we worked with our consultants and identified local transportation priorities. So we wanted to look at it at the local level and see what we could do. Identifying, prioritizing, and doing design engineering to help address these issues. And there are different types of issues. We just finished the one on the left side there, that's Geiger Road. County was very helpful with us in getting that major collector road between Island Boulevard and 301 resurfaced. That just got done recently. We're working with the county right now on the design engineering of sidewalk on that same corridor. And we about completed the design engineering on a couple of these priorities. You see on the right, Daughtry Road, Geiger Road, and Pretty Pond. All those are capacity improvements, turn lanes. So we're trying to, a lot of these are county maintained corridors, but we're taking the lead and get the design engineering done. So maybe a development comes along, we can get the developer to make that improvement, and or we kind of hope to work with, partner with the county to get some of these priorities completed. Got a roundabout at Pretty Pond Wire. It's about 90% design done. 3 of these lakes are county owned, maintained, but again, it's a lot of development occurring in this area, so we're proposing a roundabout at this intersection. Pasco Road, this is not an updated slide. Happy to announce finally that about 2 years, we got the Duke to work with us and the county right-of-way use permit to get Cossack Road connected from the west to go east that you see on the right part of the slide there, Wire Road that connects to Otis Allen. Important area of our large retail commercial node. There's a Duke transmission pole that held it up for a long period of time, but we finally got that worked out. So this is an important link that will help improve regional traffic in this area. Here, this came from our mobility plan where we talked about looking to the future to have a multimodal bypass loop road. And this goes around Zephyr Hills, around our Zephyr Hills Airport, the industrial corridor along Chansey Road. We decided to bring it all the way up to Otis Allen Road. That's an important corridor. As you all know, the county going down Cossack Road goes all the way to 275. So that's an important leg. The LRTP on Otis Allen Road also shows that connecting to US 98 down the road. So again, with all the industrial we have happening, to probably look at a defined corridor where we look at it from designating the area and then future improvements to make sure they're freight friendly. And you can see the southern boundary is Chansey Road, Morris Bridge, and Island Boulevard are the boundaries of that proposed loop road that we hope to get 4-laned. Very excited about all the industrial development that's happening in Zephyr Hills. On the bottom right-hand corner is Baduco, a Brazilian company coming 500 to 600,000 square feet, 500 to 600 jobs. Now we hear that they might even be expanding, so that could even be larger. That picture that you see there is phase 1, about 150,000 square feet. The bottom left-hand corner is the National Guard Armory that's developing north of the airport. And the right-hand slide is MyTech Building Products, another great manufacturer, jobs, 70 to 80,000. Quick success story on that. On that property, it's at 39 in Chansey, as you can see. Had someone looking to put 750 units in that. We denied that. Shortly thereafter, MyTech came in and gobbled up that 125 acres. What's important about that one real quick is it has rail access. One of the reasons we were recommending denial is we want to protect those properties that have rail access. MyTech's going to use rail. All their product coming in is going to be on rail. Some of their product going out is going to be on rail. Diminishes the need for the roads that have a lot of those trips, so that was important. And then Tibbetts Lumber is the upper left-hand corner. There's a lot happening right there. Working with Rob Kersey, we work with DOT, and the importance of getting these intersections where the freight is. Make sure we're looking at those intersections carefully, the typical section that the trucks can make the turning movements around those key intersections. So that's in our mobility plan, transportation element. So that's a summary coming of our vision of transportation mobility in the city. How we're trying to look at capacity, safety, roadway projects, trails, the bus, and partnering with the county and DOT to make those improvements for Zephyr Hills. Appreciate your time. Happy to answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we're gonna move on to other business. Have some other business for us.
Mr. Mariano had to leave, so he asked me if I would nominate Pastor Jen Kira to be on the BPAC committee to replace Dennis Keegan.
Second. Second. In favor? Aye. Congratulations. Anybody else have any other business?
I just wanted to re-announce to the board that we are going, we have a trip to Metropolitan to look at their merger structure. As you guys all know, we are talking about the Tampa Bay regional merger, and this trip is specifically to go take our elected officials out to Orlando to view Metropolitan. They are a merged MPO. I think they've been since the early 90s, and the MPO director, Terry Huffman, has invited us, all three MPOs out there to meet their elected officials, have the conversations, and also review how they run their MPO. That would be October 27th. We'll be leaving from downtown Tampa, from the, we call it Palace, but the government building, was the, I don't know the address off the top of my head, but it is downtown Tampa, and we're leaving from the Pierce Garage. So if you are interested, if you have not confirmed, please confirm as soon as possible, so that way we can have a count for lunch. It does start at 8 a.m. and we'll be traveling together on a bus all the way to Orlando, so you do not have to. And Sunshine Law is an event, so everybody knows.
Did they send out a calendar event on that?
I'm sorry?
Did they send out a calendar event?
Yes, we did. Check your emails. All right, thank you.
Anybody have any other business?
Sure. So I had a resident reach out to me this morning, actually, and so it's around the Oak Grove area. But I guess there's some issues there with speeding and whatnot, so I wanted to read this for him. I guess him and some residents around there had some issues for a long time. They've been trying to get some help, so I told him I would read it to the record for the board. Good morning, sir. Appreciate you answering my phone today and putting up with my early morning rant. My concern is the speeding around Oak Grove area and Parkwood front. Kids walking to school here in cars break the speed limit constantly, which is only 20-mile-an-hour limit. The HOA restricts us on how to park our vehicles. It causes more problems for pedestrians on the sidewalks. Not to mention, my walking buddy got struck by a vehicle going the wrong way and had to go through surgery for brain injury. Do we need to wait for a child to get killed on our streets before we can take any appropriate measures that might save lives? Thank you very much for taking my call today. Again, I appreciate it. Just a frustrated neighbor that lives at 24649 Laurel Ridge Road or Drive. And my house happens to be on one of the most dangerous spots on the street. Every afternoon, I cringe while my wife and I watch kids walking home from school with speeding cars right next to them. I have a blessed day and pray the board can do something. So I don't know anything that works in the area. Set that up. Yeah, sure.
What road was that again?
His address is 24649 Laurel Ridge Drive. He mentions that it was around the Oak Grove area. So you got anything going on there? It might be an enforcement issue worked out there, or maybe some change, but I want to read it. Sorry.
Anyone else? All right, next meeting is to be on Thursday, October 9th at 10 a.m. With Pasco.
That name was Chris. Come on, let's Chris.
Oh, thank you.
If you.
Thank you.